Now, would you like the incentive first before we continue?
Yeah, sure. There was apparently a Team Bandicoot or Team Cortex incentive, right?
That is what I've got in front of me right now. I am very pleased to announce here live at ESA Marathon, the winning team for this run is, in fact, Team Bandicoot.
All right, let's get after it. So, first things first, before I start this run, I'd just like to say that this is the Xbox version of this game. There are many differences, but the Xbox version has the fastest loads, which is going to be very nice for us. But besides that, Team Bandicoot, CNK any percent, here we go. I've been told to hit the button moderately hard, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's do this. All right, so the first mechanic that you will see in this game is the hop and slide. I'll be calling it a drift. So basically, when I drift, I'm going to be hitting R1 to initiate the drift, and then the L trigger, because this is the Xbox controller, right trigger and left trigger. I'll be hitting the left trigger 3 times, because that's how many boosts you can do in one drift. 1, 2, 3. There you go, as an example. And that is going to be our main way of preserving our speed here. Basically, this whole run is going to be dictated by a thing called reserves. And what reserves are is, the way I've always described it is it's the way you keep your speed that you've rightfully earned by going off like a turbo pad, for example. So I'll explain it more on this lap 2 coming up, because there is a green and black turbo pad that showcases this wonderfully. But basically, I'll go off this green and black turbo pad, and it will give me the strongest speed in the game, and then by mini turboing consistently, I'll be able to maintain that speed for as long as I wish. That's the main idea. If I hit a wall or I don't boost enough, it will run out, and obviously that is not what we want. So there's going to be a lot of drifting, a lot of boosting, and a lot of trying to maintain our speed through reserves. It's basically one big tug of war. Every frame that we're not boosting, it's running out. And every frame that we do boost, it goes up dramatically. And so that is going to be the struggle for the run. That's going to define the run at the very least. Inferno Island is this track. It's a very nice way to kick off things. Not much to the track. It's a very nice starting point. 31, 29, 29 laps in the top left corner is a nice way to start. There we go. Alrighty. One thing I should notice, or should mention, excuse me, is you notice I'm playing as Coco. Obviously, if the Team Cortex incentive did win, I'd be playing as Engine right now. But basically, the turning characters in this game are the best characters in the game. When you go off a turbo pad in this game, you would think that the speed character's stat would be very, very useful to have a higher base speed. However, when you go off a turbo pad in this game, every character has the exact same speed, which means that turning characters get like a huge buff basically because of that, and speed characters obviously get a huge nerf. Because as soon as I go off this turbo pad here, I am going as fast as any speed character would with a turning character, which is very nice. On top of that, turning stats in this game, as I do a shortcut there, is very, very good, because turning turning with a character that doesn't have fantastic turning is like trying to maneuver a tank. It's ridiculously hard. This turn here, for example, would not be possible with Crunch Bandicoot, for example, the speed character for Team Bandicoot. Or even Crash, for that matter, the balanced character. Little shortcut here, should be nice. There we go. The start of CNK is moderately tame compared to how it's going to get. It's quite a nice, chill introduction to the run. Couple of niche strats, but nothing crazy. Just like taking a tight line here, trying not to hit the wall. The wall hitboxes in this game can be, I guess, sneaky. That's a bomb. Okay. Actually, yeah, I should mention that before mentioning the walls in this game. Basically, I'm going to be lapping the AI, as you can see. And there is a chance that they will item me as I pass them. It would be unfortunate. It doesn't happen too often, as Cortex just body blocks me there. But yeah, all in all, good start. But yeah, hopefully the AI won't troll me too much, we'd like to imagine. Okay, rare example here of a speed character actually being fast. This is the only track in the game where we will deviate from playing as Coco. Just watch the menu here. Alright, switch characters as a crunch there. The menus in this game are very, very quick. You almost could have missed that if you weren't paying attention, but we are now crunch. And the main reason for this is because even though I just explained that speed characters basically get nerfed in this game compared to the likes of Crash Team Racing, this game's predecessor, because of turbo pad speed being the same for every character. However, as you can see, this track hasn't had a turbo pad yet and won't until about 28 seconds into lap 1, which means for the first 28 seconds of this track, I'm saving time by being a speed character. Now I'll be going as the same speed as Coco, but that was a nice like 1.5 second time save by just playing as crunch there. Look out below indeed. Alrighty. This should be like a 45 lap, which is pretty much impossible, nearly. That's pretty much impossible with Coco, because Coco loses about 1.5 seconds on lap 1. But then Coco will save back a little bit of time on this section. But the thing is because even though, like I said, speed characters turn like a tank, the nice thing is this track doesn't really have any tight turns to navigate, as I sadly miss a mini turbo. That happened there because I hit left trigger just too late, and the mini turbo ran out. As you can see by the mini turbo gauge that appears every time I drift, I want to time it so that it's at the fullest, because that gives me not only the fullest amount of speed from it, but also the fullest amount of reserves, which we discussed earlier. Yeah, into lap 3 now. Again, look out below. This should reach 100 boost actually if I play this well. Like this cycle here, that fire cycle can be tough. But yeah, just carrying the speed here. One thing I should mention, by the way, one of the more intended things from this game, before we get into the really unintended stuff that's going to happen in Hub 2 and 3, is that Wampa in this game is quite useless in comparison to games like Crash Team Racing or Nitro Fueled or even Mario Kart 8, to use a more well-known instance for coins. The only way to get Wampa in this game besides Stray Wampa, which only gives you 1, is to get a crate, but the crates only give you 3. And the crates only giving you 3 is a nice pink cutscene. That happens when you mash through the podium cutscene too hard, and the game just doesn't have time to load, which is phenomenal. Okay, we're going to be switching back to Coco here. And keep an eye out on the menu. Going to hit right on the D-pad. There we go. So we're back to Coco, and we will be playing as Coco for the rest of the run. That was a rare circumstance where Crunch was faster, but yeah. Alright, first boss fight of the run. There is 4 of these, and then the final boss, so 5 in total. And there is not much difference here. The only difference, that would have been nice, I'll explain that in a sec. The only difference really in the boss fights is if you're behind them, they will shoot out items to try and hit you infinitely. So getting ahead of the bosses is, you know, very important early on, so that you don't get trolled. But also on top of that, in boss fights, there are boxes that have an X on them, like this one I'm going through right now. And what these do is it gives you 3 of any item that you get. Now I haven't explained this really, because items don't really come up too often in this run. But when they do, they come up in a big way, because basically boost items give you turbo pad speed immediately without having to go off one of these turbo pads here. And that's huge, because if you get that first item, like if you get that in the first box of a race, right, that will mean that, you know, you can access turbo pad fire without going off a turbo pad and be going really fast at the start of lap 1 as opposed to having to wait, which is really big. Sadly, I got 3 of these like electro things, which isn't exactly ideal, but doesn't hinder us in any way. So this is the end of Hub 1. And whilst we load in a Hub 2, now would be probably a good time for some donations, perhaps.
Yes, we've got loads of those coming up. So, one really quick thing. We have a dream here at ESA, and that dream is Zelda cosplay coming up in the Wind Waker run in about an hour's time. Please put all the donation incentives towards that. We've got $15 from Alksejuf, and that goes towards Team Cortex. Bad luck, better luck next time. We've got $20 from Kolatch. It says, wait a minute, this isn't ETD Hondo Hypno Weird. That was also towards Team Cortex. Bad luck, better luck next time. We've got $10 from Frostifero. Well, Amnesia already got my ETD fix, so quick. Sonic R after you get CNK World Record, question mark. Living in the City, question mark. Joke Sam, good luck on the run, Hypno Love. And that was also for Team Cortex. Bad luck, better luck next time. We have tons more, just like keep letting me know and we'll just bring it in and out.
Alrighty, Media Gorge next up. So this is the first track of Hub 2. Yeah, the first snow level. There's going to be a couple of these next up as well, but this one's the main snow level in the game. If you're familiar with CTR's Blizzard Bluff, this may look a bit similar, but there is this strat here that is worth mentioning. Basically, you need to hop off this little mound, and then you can hop through the off-road quicker while maintaining the speed that you would have on the road. The reason for that is because the moment you go into the off-road in this game, you slow down, but if you jump into it, then that effect gets delayed, which is huge, because by continuously hopping, you can continue to avoid the effect. I kind of just went into the off-road there, you may have seen that. Alright, here we go. Here's another example of it. I'm going to hop off the on-road into the off-road, and it barely slows me down. Same again here. Very nice. Ideally, I want 33 laps here. I have had a 32 before. It would be insane to get that in a marathon. As I say that, I hit a wall. That's a 33. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. You may have mentioned, noticed actually the boost counter in the middle of our screen here. That is basically the game's way of referencing that reserves are a real thing, and reserves, obviously, as before mentioned, help keep your speed. Oh, I kind of got a drop jump there. That didn't help. Not sure if I was dropped or just I hit jump while in the air, so I didn't get one when I landed. One of the two. But boost counter isn't exactly like the perfect showcase of reserves, due to the fact that you can actually lose reserves, but the boost counter will stay up for like a short time afterwards. So you can keep like a really long boost chain going in the game's mind without actually doing it, which is pretty interesting. Okay, this is the last track before things get really, really interesting. Barren Ruins is the end of what I call the early game. Couple things to note out for here. Yes, this is another snow level, but there is more ice in this level, as you will see in this section here. It's a little bit more slidey, but with some hops, we can avoid it. That was a really nice line though. Got 3 mini turbos out of that as well, and then immediately missed one, but that's fine because of the turbo pad there. This exclamation mark block drops like that massive ball that you just saw behind me. That's unfortunate. Basically just some on the road scenery there on that ramp. That's unfortunate, but it's all good. That ball, if you are too fast, which is it's very rare because the AI also have to be really, really slow. But basically, if you're too fast going into lap 3, you can be really close to the AI, and they can hit the exclamation mark box, and it can really mess you up. Because you imagine you're going here and you can't see the road, right? And then you jump and the ball's right in front of you. It's pretty brutal, but that shouldn't happen because I kind of messed up lap 1 a little bit. Got a 43 when you can get a 42. So that's all good. Again, lap times are in the top left if you haven't already seen it, but yeah. Character's really wanting me to hang on today. Alright, another little shortcut here. Very minimal, but it exists. Again, this is a very, very tame early game compared to that's unfortunate. You know, it's funny, but that happened because of the lap 1 mistake. That cycle usually wouldn't be in that position. But because I messed up lap 1, that guy was a little bit further ahead than he usually is. That's what caught me. Unfortunate, but it's all good. Listen, if the next track goes well, that's the last thing we'll be worrying about, I promise you. The next track, actually, I'll start talking about it now because I'm going to be concentrating, and I'm probably gonna shut up for that portion because it's gonna decide a lot of things in this run going forward. But basically, the next track is deep sea driving, and deep sea driving has a, to put it lightly, messed up finish line. And we are going to try and expose this finish line by practicing our parallel parking technique. And you think I'm joking, but I'm really, really not. This is a crazy skip. It was found about 2 years ago by CD Romatron. Shoutouts to him. And there is no other skip in the game like it. Basically, I'm going to be looking for a perfect line, a perfect acceleration, a perfect reverse speed, and a perfect 0.2 start accelerating. And it counts for lap. So here we go. I'm going to concentrate and see if we can get some laps. Ideally, we do. I just want to be just past that black line. And I am currently not. There we go. That's a better attempt, not the perfect line, so we'll readjust. Currently going just a little bit too early here. Not the best start, but hopefully we can save it. Come on. Come on. Any day now. There it is. Now we're in first. So now I want to try and replicate that, because now I know I'm on a good line, because I just got a lap. There it is. One more of those, please. One more of those. Come on. So the AI here, it's worth mentioning, because of the lap time, like you cross the line so quickly, it doesn't actually have time to change the position tracker. So if the AI go around again, by the time I have finished, I'll actually get second, even though I've done 3 laps and they've only done 2, because the position tracker won't change. Okay, come on. Gotta give it to me. We'll adjust our line, because that was failing us. There it is. That was the correct decision to adjust the line, evidently. You think it's over, by the way. It's not. The boss of this world is also on that track. So we're going again. We're going again. You thought it was over. No, no, no. You can imagine this is the main reset point in Crash Nitro Kart runs. It's really the only reset point in Crash Nitro Kart runs. There are some crazy skips coming up, but nothing as volatile as this. In fact, the track after this is another crazy track that has some very flashy skips, but here we go. Let's go again. It is possible to get like a 9-second deep sea driving, by the way. I've only ever had a sub 10 once, but wouldn't mind something like that right now. Here we go. There it is. There it is! Oh my god. That's what I was dreaming of. Alright. Nice. Nice to put that behind me. Well, that made up for the trophy visit, didn't it? Goodness. Right, okay. Straight out of that skip into Out of Time. Out of Time is my personal favorite track in the game to kick off Hub 3. There are a ton of flashy skips here. Ironically, probably the hardest part of this track is the least flashy skip in the level, which is called Clock Jump, which you'll see. Believe it or not, you jump off the clock. Can you believe it? But yeah, so lap 1 is going to look pretty standard. You know, we're going to drive it fairly normally. But then when you get to this section, we can actually cut the corner at the end of it. This doesn't look flashy, but this is one of the hardest skips in the game because the jump timing is pretty precise. Nice. And then the slightly easier skip, but way more flashy, is going to consist of the makers of this game forgetting to put a def plane here, and you're going to jump off, clip the side of a mountain to get the lap count, and then fall like that. And what that's going to do is, even though we fell off near the start line, it's actually going to spawn us all the way to the clock, which is huge because that skips the entire first portion of the track and finishes the lap slightly quicker as well. Both skips save about, 10 seconds every time you do them, compared to failing them. So this track is like, you think you're out of the woods when you are out of deep sea driving, and then this track exists. Final lap here. 35 AET is a really, really nice lap too. Would like to replicate that on lap 3 here. See what we can do. AI can actually get in the way. My own teammate, Crash, is currently behind me, but he is not in the way because we were fast enough on the first 2 laps. Okay, so far, this has been fine. I was unlucky to clip that there and lose my reserves, but we're still fine. This is still enough speed, even if it's not turbo pad speed, this is still enough speed to make this jump here and finish the race in style. There you go. Very nice. 154.54 is a nice time there. Optimally, it's around a 151 or 2, but like in a marathon run, that is absolutely serviceable. Again, that is not the last we'll see of that track, because the boss of this world takes place on out of time as well. So, yeah, we'll be revisiting that. But for now, Clockwork Wampa is the next level. Clockwork Wampa is very, very similar to Cortex Castle if you've seen the original CTR. A lot of 90-degree turns here that very much suit Coco over Crash and Crunch on this team. But this is actually one of the rare levels because of that Wampa crate right there, but we might actually reach 10 Wampa through. As I was saying before, I think I actually forgot to finish my thought earlier, but the 3 Wampa per crate is actually, it kind of makes Wampa useless, because Wampa in this game, as far as I'm aware at least, only speeds you up if you have 10. Unlike in the original CTR, where every 1 Wampa helps speed you up, in this game it only helps if you have 10. And of course, because you only get 3 Wampa per crate and a lot of the crates are out the way, it doesn't really help too much. This is an interesting turn here. That's actually a tech that I haven't explained, so I'll explain it going into the end of lap 2. But basically, it's a thing called drift cancelling, where you start a drift and maybe you do 1 or 2 mini turbos, usually 1. And then you just completely let go of drift, but keep holding the way you were drifting. And you'll keep the momentum of that drift. And you'll just swing around the corner. And it can make some lines, like that last one, where if you can see where the finish line is on the minimap, to the left side of the minimap, in the bottom right, that last turn is unbelievably tight. And so drift cancelling is very, very nice here. So I can do 1 uphill here and then just let it go. And then, as you can see, I make that turn really nicely. 46.72 is a fine lap too, on top of a 49 SL. Starting lap, that stands for. Yeah, and like I said, 10 Wampa. A very rare CNK 10 Wampa, which is nice. Didn't actually mention this section, but the hitboxes on these gears is actually way more forgiving than you'd think. You can jump onto them relatively easily without really cause for alarm. But yeah, that's it for Clockwork Wampa. Before we go into Thunderstruck, I think we have time for 1 or 2 donations, so take it away, man.
We're at 515 out of 1,000 for Zelda cosplay. Donate for it now. We've got $10 from Geary125. Yo, yo, yo. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Dingo, dingo, dingo. May the PS2 copter be with you. And that goes to Dingo Dial for the Fire Emblem character. We've got $50 from Mad Girl with a Box, Samuel, hypnoshark, Newell the Third. Good luck on DSD. And remember, you can go faster. And that $50 is going towards a Zelda cosplay. Yes. We've got $25 from Dylan Gilroy. Good luck on the run, hypnoshark. Crash Nitro Kart is my favorite game of all time, and it's great to see it on the big stage. Thank you, all the ESA staff, for all the time and effort spent on organizing this event year after year for an amazing cause. Thank you so much indeed. And finally, we've got $100 from Jamie the Benule. It says, highest quality runners. And you let Hypno on? Come on now. And that's also going to the Zelda cosplay. It's like in 50 minutes time, you've got to donate towards it. Just click on the Zelda whenever you donate. Do it now.
Alrighty, Thunderstruck, next track and final track of Hub 3, of course, before the boss. This is probably the longest track so far in the game. In fact, it is. I will be fortunate to sub 1 minute laps here. That's the aim. 59.59 is the optimal configuration for lap 2 and lap 3. We'll see if we can do it. But this is the first track that really shows off anti-gravity, which is this game's main selling point. And Mario Kart 8 ripped it off. I can't believe it. But but basically, as you can see, the rain is actually going upwards if you look to the side, which is a pretty cool feature for a game from 2003, to be honest with you. But yeah, this track is really nice. One of the tracks where you can actually really stack boosts in a quite satisfying way. We should be able to get up to, if I play this well, about 170 boosts by the end of this, which would be very nice. Those exclamation mark, or that exclamation mark box back there, sets off those 2 hammer guys, so I was lucky to avoid that. But if you're fast enough, you should avoid them no matter what. That's the idea, at least. Up to 60 boosts here into the anti-gravity section. But yeah, these it's worth mentioning also that the spiky like cycles, I guess, on the anti-gravity sections are pretty avoidable. That being said, now that I've said that, I'm probably going to hit one. But the hitbox is pretty forgiving, and you can take nice lines whilst completely not going near them, as you can see. The turbo pads that like the game put the turbo pads in front of the spiky cycles to make you want to take the risk, but if you keep reserves well by just mini turboing over and over and over, you shouldn't need to go over there, because you should have kept turbo pad 5 from the very beginning of the level. Let's see if that's a 59 lap. It's going to be close. Oof. Close to optimal. Yeah, not bad. I think that happened because I didn't get the optimal line here. That's a bit better. This might be a 59 if I can play the rest of this well. But yeah, like I said, just avoiding these cycles. Again, I'm going to use this Electro Ball because this is lap 3 and I won't have to face the consequences of laying that there because the race will be done. I may as well try and farm a boost item at this point. But yeah, this track is, at least so far, the longest track in the game, I believe. There will be longer tracks, but this is a nice, relatively peaceful track until out of time again when we face Norm, which will be the 3rd boss fight of the game. Yeah, this might be a 59 lap, you know. This has gone pretty well, this lap 3. I'm going to use this shield just in case the hammer guy wants to do something. 59? Yeah, it's easy. Nice. Nice. Good stuff all around. Alright. Should be mentioning, really, I've been skipping all the cutscenes, but if you are interested in the story of this game, funny green alien man kidnapped us, and now we've got to save Earth by beating him in a race, and the way we do that is by, of course, getting the 3 trophies from each world and getting the key by beating the bosses. We will be facing Velo as the final boss. Velo is the before-mentioned funny green alien man. But, yeah, okay, so out of time again here. This does actually take a slight change. There is definitely something worth mentioning compared to the trophy visit here, and that is this Xbox here. And, yeah, I get 3 boosts, which is optimal. And that means that I might be able to take some tight lines here if I'm able to get this shortcut. Nice. I can use the boost item here and go across the sand, and I won't have to worry about losing reserves like I normally would do because I use the boost item. And what this means is actually, more so than just saving time, there's a cycle with the boss Norm where doing this shortcut on lap 3, you'll spawn right in front in front of him, and he will use his shield power-up, like his bubble power-up, whatever you want to call it, which traps you similar to a TNT and forces you to jump to get it away from you. But if you're fast enough, you actually won't have to deal with that at all, because you'll be just far enough ahead of him to where he won't troll you. And that boost item on lap 1 may just be the difference. Keep an eye on the minimap here. The green dot is norm, and look where I'm going to be spawned. It's going to be close. The minimap can be a bit wrong at times. No, I got him. I got it. He didn't shield me, which is really, really nice. And that was because of the boost item on lap 1, really. Let's see if we can get this jump again. Awesome. Did not fail that jump this run, which is really, really nice, because that is one of the hardest shortcuts in the game. Feels good. And then ending with this flashiness here. That's a 150. That might be one of the best norms I've ever done. Genuinely. That's really good. Nice. Yeah, the 3 boost items certainly helped there. Yeah, honestly, I mean, man, if it wasn't for the first deep sea driving visit, taking about 150, this would probably be very, very good pace. But either way, into the last hub world of the game. In fairness, the Nash boss fight, where I got a 24-second DSD, definitely made up for that, so it's all good. If you played CTR, Crash Team Racing, you will kind of perhaps recognize some of the themes of this track, Assembly Lane. A mix of Tiny Arena and Engine Labs from the original CTR. The mud section is very akin to Tiny Arena, and the mid section is very, very similar to Engine Labs. Even has corners positioned in the same way as the original CTR does with Engine Labs. I'm going to avoid that cycle. This hasn't been the best reserve management of my life, but unfortunate, but I should be able to live. That's fine. I'd rather that happen to me on lap 1, because on lap 1 I haven't gone off a turbo pad yet, and this is the only turbo pad in the level coming up right here, and it's right at the end. So this track can be sneaky hard, because whilst you shouldn't mess it up, because there's only 1 turbo pad in the entire level, it can be quite scary, because if I hit a wall, for instance, right now, I would not only obviously lose my speed, but then I wouldn't be able to get my speed back until the very end of this lap, which would lose a lot, usually about 5-6 seconds, depending on where you lose it, of course. So shortcuts here quite nice, but yeah, all in all, this track is just about not hitting any walls and trying to maintain your reserves, which can be quite hard because you're sometimes forced to take some suboptimal lines on that conveyor belt section due to the cycles being in your way. But besides that, that is a good lap too. Should be like some kind of 43, 42 lap, maybe. Probably a 43 though, which is absolutely fine. Going into the last lap here. Another lap like that would absolutely suffice. Might be a 42. Close. Yeah, nice lap. Into the final lap we go. I am actually going to farm items here for a boost item, because if I get a boost item, I could perhaps play a little bit risky, knowing that if I do hit a wall, I can use the boost item to save me. Took an unoptimal line there, so just going to go wide and take my medicine, try not to force myself to make that turn when it probably was never going to happen. But yeah, nice assembly lane. It's kind of how you want this track to go. You kind of don't really want this track to be like anything insane. Just need it to not mess up, and that's what that was. We'll take it. Alright, next track, and this is the boss track of the 4th world. So you will be seeing this track twice when we face Geary, which is the 4th boss. But Android Alley, again, this is a really cool anti-gravity section in the hub world, which is very nice. But yeah, Android Alley. The main gimmick of this track is that there is a train which will go down the start of the road. You can see the pink lines are where the train is going to go. And so the train is on a consistent cycle, so we can just avoid it. It's going to be right round here. I'm going to go up the wall and avoid it like that. I'm going to be keeping a mental note of like if I make any mistakes, because it will affect where that train will be. That's unfortunate, hitting that wall there. But we immediately get turbo pad fire, and we should be able to keep this for a long time, hopefully. Due to the 3 mini turbos there and here. Another 2 here, and then another turbo ramp. So my reserves now are really, really good. But hopefully we can do that. That's nice. Little shortcut here. This shortcut, like, is it kind of just feels like the intended way to play the level. It's right in your way, and it's only a short hop. It's nothing crazy. Another drift cancel here to make this turn. I can kind of afford to do a drift cancel because of my reserves being so high. Nice, avoided that train and the wall. That's very nice. But yeah, that train cycle can be a nuisance there just because that path is so narrow. But now we're up to 50 boosts, and our reserves are great. But again, as I said, the drift cancel at the end of a level is something that you can really only afford to go for if your reserves are really high. But they really should be due to the amount of turbo pads and also this section where you can get 3 mini turbos in a row and then jump and then get another like 3 here. Like, your reserves should be through the roof, which means that we're not really in any danger of losing reserves, so losing our speed. So we can afford to do a little drift cancel here to take this turn tight, like that. We can afford a little bit of time not boosting. It's because of how many times we've boosted before. That was a nice line. Because we've played this pretty well, the train cycle is going to be beaten. There is a train right there, but we are going to beat it quite convincingly, which is nice. And yeah, as we end this this race, I could be down for some more donations, if you will.
Zelda check was that. $555 out of $1,000. Keep putting towards it. We've got $5 from Freeze Champ. Yo, Mr. Sam Shark, what's good in the hood? It's your editor here, Freeze Champ. Please make something out of this because I need work. Jokes aside, I'm so proud of you. Hope CNK treats you well. Looking at you, DSD. Hope to meet everyone next year. Big, big love to you all, and especially you, Sam. We've got $35 from Never Around. Hey, HypnoShark. Hope Parallel Park Simulator goes well for you today. And the words of a wise bandicoot, I don't know what this reference is, but I'm going to go na 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 na. That's probably the wrong franchise. But anyway, $50 from AJ Ellis. Mr. Shark stealing my money again. Typical. But it's for such a good cause, and I couldn't be prouder to support at this amazing event. Good thing Coco can't kill your run here. Hey, Hypno. Much love. And that is going to naming Coco for Final Fantasy III's character, which is the run coming up tomorrow. We've got $10 from Fat Cat 67. Good luck, Hypno. Hope everyone is enjoying ESA and Hypno. Make the Dingo Clan proud. We've got $5 from Julia Bandicoot. Do that jungle. Boogie Woogie. Good luck, have fun. Hypno X Bandicoot power. $25 from Glenn O'Brien. This run is almost as good as mine. $5 from Fusion Synth. Good luck, Hypno. Also, Cut Engine, your chat. And last one, $20 from Silver 47. Dude, I love Hypno Shark. We've got tons more, so like, please keep giving me chances.
Alrighty. That was a lot, man. That was a lot. Alright. Oh, wow. A boost item right at the start of Electron Avenue. That is lovely. Okay, that kind of frees me up to take some riskier strats here. Because knowing that if I do mess up, it is absolutely fine. I have this boost item in reserve at the top of the screen. But yeah, Electron Avenue. There is a cool skip coming up here. It's called Rail Bounce. I'm going to avoid the anti-gravity section, bounce on the rail, and actually get the above anti-gravity section to recognize me first, rather than the track below me, which will skip about 3 seconds. Here we go. Hopefully I keep reserves while doing it. Very nice. Just like that. Basically, it skips that little section there and saves like roughly 2.5, 3 seconds. There are 3 ways to go about that, either failing it completely, making it like that, where you keep your speed and get back up to top speed really fast, or, which is unfortunate if it happens, but sometimes you can bounce off the rail and you can lose your speed, like you lose your reserves, which you'll be able to tell because the boost counter will just completely vanish when I bounce off the rail, which would be unfortunate if it happened, but luckily, like I said, I have the boost item, so if that does happen, I kind of have a backup, which is really, really nice. This is the second longest track in the game. The longest track in the game will be the final boss, which is a track that you have not seen yet. At this point, you've seen every track in the game except the final boss track, but that track has its own cool strats and skips, which we'll get to when we get to them. But yeah, for now, Rail Bounce number 2. Let's see if we can get it. Very nice, and I kept my speed. You can tell because the boosts counter stayed there. I'm now at 56. It's very nice. This turn here, actually, I should really bring this tech up that I just did. U-turning is a thing that is used in many speed games, but many racing speed games, I should say. But CNK, it's got a very, very niche use. really only used for like that turn and maybe a few others, but mainly that one. Basically, by U-turning, I'm hitting brake, which is a surefire way to lose all my speed and reserves. But because the turn is so tight, it's actually worth it. That, and there's a turbo pad like 5 seconds after that movement. So it's actually worth it. It's a rare circumstance in this game where sacrificing your reserves and speed is actually worth it. I'll point it out again when it does happen, because I kind of mentioned it a bit late, but I'll point it out. It's a little bit after rail bounce it. Again, I actually haven't had to use the boost item yet. I may have just jinxed it, of course, but we'll see. Okay, 3 out of 3 without losing reserves. That's really nice. May as well use it. And again, here's the U-turn I was referencing. I'm going to U-turn and jump twice. That turn is just unbelievably tight, and there's no real reason to try and keep your reserves, especially as there's this turbo pad ramp right here to get you back up to speed. That's a nice 109, 107, 108. That's nice. All right, final 2 tracks in the run at this point. We've beaten everything except the penultimate boss and the final boss. Penultimate boss fight is Geary. It will be on Android Alley, not the last track you saw, but the one before. Geary can be a nuisance. He's probably the boss who can be the biggest nuisance besides the final boss, due to him actually getting a really, really good start, which means that you can be behind him, which in turn means that he can hit you with his item, which all bosses use. Usually you're ahead of a boss after the first little bit. Unfortunate start boost there, but hopefully we can get 3 boosts from this Xbox. Yeah. Okay, 3 missiles. I mean, might be able to do some damage to him. Avoid that. Oh, unlucky. That was close. Like I said, Geary can be a nuisance at the start just because of his item. That and I missed the star boost, which was entirely my fault, but star boosts in this game are actually relatively hard. The timing isn't as easy as it may seem. Gonna avoid that, yeah. And surely overtake him on the inside here. Yeah, nice. Okay. Give me 3 boosts. Love that. So, yeah, now that I have 3 boosts, I can definitely go for, like, the drift cancel strats on that last turn, which we discussed earlier, because having 3 boosts in tow is really, really nice. That's pretty much going to guarantee that the rest of this Geary goes well, because even if I make a mistake, as long as that mistake isn't falling off, I should be fine, because I can just get right back up to speed if I like hit a wall, for instance. Yeah, 59 lap 1 isn't exactly what we want to see, but that's okay. Hopefully we can get a 54 or maybe even a 53 with these boost items and be fine. I'm going to use one here just so I can take a better line and not have to worry about drifting. Again, ideally I shouldn't mess up twice, but in case I do have 2 boost items for it. Around this turn here. Again, these turns, like, pretty much the optimal way to go about them is doing 3 mini turbos, like this, like 1, 2, 3, and that basically guarantees that I'm going to have good reserves. But yeah, for one final time, I think I can pass it over some more donations for one last time.
We've got $10 from Mr. GGG's for the king of deep sea driving, HypnoShark. You're awesome, mate. Good to see you at ESA doing what you love. We've got $25 from Iron. Hello, all of Hypno's community who decided to meet Mr. Streamer in person. Hope you're all having a marvelous time. Remember, you know you've got to survive and you've got to keep the dream alive, Sam. Lots of love. And that $25 went towards the Zelda cosplay. We've got $10 from Derek Lander. Yo, yo, yo. Glad to see my many familiar PlayStation speedrunners in the background. Didn't make it this year, but hopefully all of you guys are having an incredible week at ESA. Also, HypnoShark, please show off the merch, my guy. It slaps. $15 from Vivi's Undergarments. Oh, ho, ho. Who wouldn't want to see a Zelda cosplay on a Saturday night? I guess. Shout out to that one guy, Matako, for keeping an excellent ambassador for Irish speedrunning. Keep up the great work, lads. That's also going towards the Zelda cosplay. We got $25 from DJC Senior, Daily Dingo Tax, sure thing. And we've got $5 from Empty Null. Tiny is the superior driver, Hypno. You know it's true. And those $5 are going towards the upgrade to the whip only for Castlevania. We've still got time to get this Zelda cosplay. Just look at it, like go into the donation thing and like click on the link. It's horrifying. It's going to make your night, I promise you.
Alright, not the greatest Geary there, but it's all good. That is a very, very small blemish on an otherwise very, very good run. One final track then. This track is called Hyper Spaceway. It's the final boss's track, Emperor Velo. And this is easily the longest track in the game, but also has its fair share of skips. Without the skips, this track is literally like 1 minute 40 per lap, which is just insane. But luckily, the skips can lower it to sub 120 laps if we play well. So here we go. Time will be when I cross the line on lap 3 here, so this truly is it. But first thing to note, if I do get a good start boost, I'm actually going to hop a couple times and let him overtake me. The reason for that is because of this shortcut here. I can fall off and it puts me further up the track, which is really nice. But on top of that, if I start ahead of him, Velo immediately missiles you. It literally punishes you for getting a good start. So you just let him overtake you and then immediately overtake him back with that unintended shortcut there. That's the only unintended shortcut that we'll be doing in this level. There is this intended shortcut right here where you jump all the way to here, and then you're able to skip that cornering section to the left by going off this ramp. That's the main way that the game designers expected you to beat Velo, by utilizing that shortcut, because if you don't utilize that shortcut, Velo is incredibly tough. But luckily the unintended shortcut and that combined to make it pretty reasonable, because again, a lot of the boss's difficulty in this game comes from being behind them. And so if you can get immediately ahead, it's kind of like any other race in many ways, because they can't really do damage to you when you're ahead of them. Should be like some kind of 120 lap one, which is absolutely fine. Going to do the unintended shortcut again here, just fall off to the left instead of going through the portal. Spawns me up top. One thing I didn't mention, actually, I was unfortunate not to get 3 boost items at the end of lap 1 from the X crate, because there is a 50% chance of getting 3 boosts and a 50% chance of getting 3 bombs. And I have never seen this ever again, but once I got 3 missiles, and I have no idea how, I've never seen it again, but yeah, aiming for 3 boosts, obviously, because when I respawn from the unintended shortcut at the start of a lap, obviously I'm not going to have reserves because I've just died and respawned. So I can use the boost time to instantly get back up to top speed, which is really nice. But I didn't have that on lap 1 because I got the bad 50% chance and got bombs instead, which isn't ideal. I'm talking about this X crate here. Let's see what we get this time. That's better. 3 boosts. There we go. So now I can save at least one of them, and you'll see when I respawn from the unintended shortcut on lap 3. This is going to be quite fast. 118, final lap of the run. Yeah, one last unintended shortcut. Boost item right here, and back up to top speed just in time to hit this turbo pad. This last boost item I can kind of do with whatever I please. I'm going to try and catch this turbo pad without hitting the fire. That's very nice. Those fire cycles there, they are consistent, so I know where they're going to be. I'm going to use the boost time here because I didn't get a drift there, which was unfortunate. But that's all good. Alright, one last intended shortcut, final shortcut of the run. Should be fine. Very nice. Ideally, this is going to be some kind of 118, maybe even a 117 if I'm able to get... I'm able to get boost items from the last crate here. Let's see. Alright, here we go. One last time. Velo has been known to shoot bombs back here. It has hit me before. Nice. 3 boosts. That takes the pressure off. Okay, time is coming up. We're in the last 10 seconds. Here we go. Just got to avoid these electroshocks here, and we've done it. Here we go. Thank you for watching. Time. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you all for watching. There were a ton of people. I can actually see the chat. There are a ton of people here that I know of and that I don't know of. Thank you all. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This was truly an awesome experience. I would be remiss to not say shout outs to, again, CD Romatron for finding Deep Sea Driving Skip, the skip that completely flipped this game on its head. And I guess I'll shamelessly plug myself. I stream every day on twitch.tv/hypnoshark. If you want to see more CNK and CTR and stuff of that nature, do feel free to drop me a follow. But yeah, besides that, thank you so much for having me. This was an awesome experience. Cheers. Thank you.
Absolutely outstanding. I'm sure we all agree. I know you loved it in chat. I know I loved it. Did we love it? Yes, we did. What a phenomenal run by hypnoshark on Crash Nitro Kart. But don't go anywhere, because we've got Evian coming up next with Dead Cells. It's going to be an amazing time. We're kicking into high gear, going into the Sunday of ESA. We will see you very soon.